Someone has asked me how I join my granny squares together. Now I can do it two different ways. I'm going to show you the first one where you'll need a darning needle and some thread. I don't recommend joining them as you go, but only because I find it easier if you have a whole row. Let's say you've got like 4. If you have another 4, I find it easier to join a row because you join these two together. So then you join the whole row at the same time. But I'm going to show you with 2, not like that, like that. And I'm going to show you using my needle and thread, and then I'll show you how I do it if I just want to crochet it together. But to start with, I fold these back to back and I make sure that the stitches all join up. And then I'm going to do, I call it a mattress stitch. I don't know if it's technically called a mattress stitch, but that is what I'm going to call it. And then I literally put my needle through the back loop of this stitch and pull it through. This will be loose, don't worry about that for now. And then I'm going to put it through the back loop, or the loop closest to me on this side. And then I'm going to go through the back loop again on this side. And basically it's the 2 stitches closest to each other on the squares. Let me just get that out of the way because I don't want that there. Like that. So that one there, that's closest. And then this one. And then this one. And this is just a basic mattress stitch. The good thing about this mattress stitch is it seems more seamless when it's joined together. I'll show you what I mean by that. And the joining thread can hardly be seen. Back through there. And back through there. I'm just going to keep showing you until I have joined all 4 squares this way, and then I will show you the other way that I do it. But you just literally just through one loop. I think it gives a neater stitch if you just do it through one loop. And I always do it through the 2 stitches that are closest to each other on the squares. So it's like the back loop of the stitch. And then through the corner chain here and through the corner chain here. And then this is where it gets a little bit tricky, just for a second, because now you want to join it to this one here. Right, so then you find the same stitch here and you go through the back loop. And then you find this one and you put these 2 back together, back to back, so that the stitches line up. And then you just continue like you did the first one. So through that one, and then through that one, through that one, and then through that one. But yeah, this is how I mattress stitch mine together. I'll show you how to sort that loose end out in a minute as well. And we'll have another loose end as well by the time I finish this, but don't worry too much about the loose ends. Doesn't really matter at the moment. But yeah, you just go backwards and forwards. Backwards and forwards. Make sure you do go through the chain there as well. And the chain there. Right, so that is it mattress stitched together. Now if you pull these 2 ends, you will notice that actually they tighten up and you can't actually really see the stitch. You can push it together as well. It still comes a bit loose, don't worry. So that's how you can sew them together like a mattress stitch. And then to tie this end off, I literally just put my hook in there, grab this and pull it through and make a knot. And then I hide that end, so that's one. And then I do the same on this one. So I'm just gonna grab the yarn, pull it through and just make a knot, like you would fasten off a normal crochet really. Still attached to the needle, but don't worry, and just tighten it. Right, so that's that. You can stretch it back out so it's fine. It does sometimes flip over like this, but you can just flip it back, it doesn't matter. It's absolutely fine like that. And then I hide these ends. I'm only going to show you with one end and then I'll move on to the other way that I sometimes join them. Depends what you're going for really. Like I like the texture of crocheting it together, so most of the time I actually do crochet my granny squares together. But I'm just going to go down the stitches until I get to this bit here, and then I go through there and miss a loop and go back through just so that it's tight. Right, that's one way you can join them, and it looks pretty cool. But the other way you can join it, and I sort of like this way a bit better if I'm honest, you can, so you still put the squares back to back like this, but rather than sew them together, you can crochet them together. So just pull up a loop like that, chain one, and then single crochet, and then you can just single crochet through every single stitch. Just line the stitches up, but I'm going to show you what it looks like, what the difference is. This is why I really don't recommend like doing it as you go, like maybe a row, like 2 rows at a time, but I wouldn't like I wouldn't join one square and then another square and then another square, because in the long run you're going to end up with loads more ends and it will end up being more time consuming. But with this one, you don't just go through the back loops, you go through the whole loop. And when you get to the corners, you just use the corner as a corner. I usually do 2 singles in my corners, just because it's got a little bit more of a distance to go. There we go, and then 2 more in this one. And then a single in each stitch again. I personally find single crocheting them together quicker, but it does look different, and you'll see that in a second. This one has more texture to it. It's not really invisible. Like if I join squares like this, I usually use a contrasting colour. So like I would usually use like white or something, because I want it to stand out. Or like the same colour as whatever border you put on your granny squares if you're going to do a border. 1, 2, and then let's fasten that off, and I'll show you what the difference is. You still have to hide your ends obviously, but the difference here is, can you see, like you've got a more textured ridge here because we've single crocheted it together, whereas here it's sort of more invisible because you've sewn it together. But that's the 2 ways I usually join my granny squares. I hope that's helped. Let me know.